The protagonist of this story, named Naoto Hachioji, a sophomore high school student, arrives at the door of the library. Before entering the library, he hears someone talking loudly inside. As he enters the library, he sees a group of girls talking. He decides to sit away from them at the back of the library. Although the noise of the girls does not allow him to concentrate. One of the girls gets up to look for a book near him, which makes him very nervous, and he drops his backpack. Out of his backpack on the floor come some papers with manga drawings he had made. The girls pick up the drawings and start teasing him. A moment later, 3 of the girls leave, leaving only one of them. She claims to be a first-year student and starts referring to him as senpai since he is a second-year student. The girl begins to tease him and his drawings, to the point of making him cry. Before leaving, she gives him a handkerchief. At home, the boy becomes depressed because he has never cried in front of anyone. The next day, the boy, whom we will call Senpai from now on, enters the hall art club to which he belongs. Behind him enters Nagatoro, who offers herself as a model for him to draw. Senpai rejects her, saying he doesn't want to draw people, but Nagatoro convinces him. When he finishes the drawing, Nagatoro asks him to close his eyes, to give him his prize. Senpai thinks she is going to give him a kiss, so he teases her again. Senpai ends up crying again. On the way home from school, Nagatoro follows Senpai as they both go home the same way. Nagatoro continues to tease Senpai. In the middle of the teasing, Nagatoro pushes Senpai, causing him to fall into the water. Senpai gets up and is about to leave when Nagatoro asks him if he's angry, to which he says no. He asks her name and she introduces herself as Nagatoro. Another day, while Senpai is looking at a vampire manga in the art room, Nagatoro arrives. Senpai tries to hide the manga from Nagatoro, but fails. Nagatoro teases him about the manga's erotic content. Nagatoro tries to tease Senpai into biting him, but ends up grabbing Senpai's private part by accident. On the way home, Nagatoro teases Senpai about what happened earlier in the art room. Another day, at a restaurant, Senpai is spending his time drawing. At that moment, Nagatoro arrives at the restaurant with one of her friends and 2 boys. Senpai sees them after one of the boys tries to talk to Nagatoro. Senpai thinks she will tease the boy like she does with him, but instead she seems very bored. The other boy also tries to talk to Nagatoro, but also fails. On the way home, Senpai wonders if Nagatoro is just teasing him. At that moment, Nagatoro approaches him. Senpai wants to ask Nagatoro something, but he doesn't, which makes Nagatoro start teasing him. Another day in the art club room, Nagatoro offers herself as a model for Senpai's drawing. She says she will undress, which makes him very nervous. Suddenly, Nagatoro takes off her clothes and shows that she is wearing a bathing suit, so she teases Senpai. Later, on their way home, they are caught in the rain, so they seek shelter in a hut in a park. At the hut, Nagatoro tells Senpai not to look at her, because her underwear is showing through her wet uniform. Senpai thinks Nagatoro is teasing him again, so he looks at her and sees Nagatoro's underwear. Nagatoro and Senpai get embarrassed. He apologizes to her, but then she teases him again. As it seems that the rain is not going to stop, Nagatoro invites Senpai to her house, which was near them. At Nagatoro's house, they play video games while waiting for the rain to pass. Senpai beats Nagatoro in a match of the game, but then Nagatoro starts cheating and Senpai doesn't win again. Another day, Senpai looks for an empty seat in the school cafeteria, but can't find it. Nagatoro invites Senpai to sit with her and her friends. Nagatoro's friends tease Senpai, but Nagatoro does not let her friends touch Senpai. One of Nagatoro's friends asks Senpai if he is Nagatoro's boyfriend. When Nagatoro and one of his friends confront each other over a comment that Nagatoro didn't like, Senpai stands up and says loudly that he is not Nagatoro's boyfriend. Later, in the art club room, Nagatoro tells Senpai to stand up for himself when he is teased, or turn the teasing towards him into jokes. Nagatoro tries to teach Senpai, but it backfires and Senpai ends up touching her chest. Another day, in the club room, Senpai is eating lunch when Nagatoro's friends arrive and start teasing him. They tease him because he has never touched a girl's breast. Senpai tries to run away, but is caught and forced to touch the breast of one of them. After they reveal to him that it was only bread. At that moment Nagatoro arrives with an angry face and Nagatoro's friends quickly flee. Only Senpai and Nagatoro are left in the club. Nagatoro gets angry with Senpai believing that he has touched her friend's breast. Senpai explains the misunderstanding and Nagatoro returns to her old self. Nagatoro bets Senpai in a game to guess what her premium bread is, but he ends up touching her breast by accident. On another day, Senpai waits for Nagatoro in the art club room because she will be the model for her drawing today. Nagatoro arrives with a large couch that she sets up in the club room. Senpai and Nagatoro talk about compliments, and Nagatoro tells Senpai that if he wants compliments, he should give them first. Nagatoro tells him that if he gives her a compliment, she will give it to him. Senpai gives Nagatoro some compliments, but when he expects compliments from her, she teases him. Afterwards, Nagatoro wants to model, but she makes Senpai nervous and is unable to draw anything. Until she falls asleep, he manages to draw her. When Nagatoro wakes up and sees the drawing, she first teases him with a prize, but then says the drawing is fine. Another day in the art club room, Nagatoro starts to tease Senpai, but Senpai ignores her. At that moment Nagatoro's friends arrive and tell Senpai to go have fun with them and ignore Nagatoro. At that moment Nagatoro wakes up screaming in the art room scaring Senpai, as it was all a dream. Nagatoro notices that Senpai covered for her, and she gives him a compliment. Another day Nagatoro teases Senpai by tickling him, then Nagatoro tells Senpai that he tries to tickle her, but then she is too embarrassed, and won't let Senpai tickle her. Moments later, Nagatoro shows him a video where they are shearing a sheep. She makes fun of Senpai's hair, but then she offers to cut his hair. Before starting, Nagatoro gets a call from her friends who call her to the classroom. Nagatoro goes to the classroom and tells Senpai to come back later. Nagatoro's friends tricked her and they enter the art club room. They tease Senpai saying that they will shave him. Nagatoro arrives and her friends quickly run away. Then Nagatoro cuts Senpai's hair. Another day Nagatoro and Senpai are very hot, so they decide to buy snow cones, but there is a long line in front of the store. They line up to buy snow cones, but Senpai notices that Nagatoro is very unwell because of the heat. He picks up Nagatoro and takes her to a park where he buys her a bottle of water, and she then gratefully gives Senpai an ice cream. Later on the way home, the two of them talk because summer vacation starts the next day. Then Nagatoro asks Senpai for his cell phone number. In an unknown place, Senpai is awakened by a girl, who tells him he is the sage and sends him to defeat Demon Lord. The girl throws him into the air, but Senpai manages to land safely in some fields, thanks to magic. A monster attacks Senpai, but he is saved by Nagatoro, who claims to be Nagatoro. She takes Senpai as a companion and they go on an adventure. After fighting a large dragon and defeating it, he becomes one of Nagatoro's friends, Gamo. They are also joined by Yosshii, Nagatoro's other friend. When they arrive at the Demon King's castle, they do not find the Demon King. But at that moment Nagatoro and his friends reveal themselves as the Demon Lords and tease Senpai. At that moment Senpai wakes up in a coffee shop as everything before was a dream. Nagatoro and his friends arrive at the coffee shop. After running away from them, Senpai mistakenly leaves one of his sketchbooks, which Nagatoro finds. Nagatoro chases Senpai with the sketchbook, and as he says it is not his, she says she will keep it. Another day Nagatoro and his friends take Senpai to the beach. First they have fun while Senpai draws in the shade. Soon Nagatoro invites Senpai for a swim. She and her friends put sunscreen on Senpai and drag him to the beach. That night, at home, Senpai talks to Nagatoro on his cell phone and Nagatoro tells him that he had fun at the beach. Another day Senpai goes to the festival hoping to find Nagatoro, but instead he meets Nagatoro's friends Gamo and Yosshii. They put a dog collar on Senpai and send a photo to Nagatoro. Nagatoro arrives at the festival running, but Gamo doesn't want to let Senpai go. Gamo offers a competition and whoever wins gets Senpai. During the competition, Nagatoro tells Senpai that if he wants to go somewhere with someone else, he can propose too. Nagatoro and Senpai lose the competition, so Nagatoro bribes Yosshii with one of the prizes and they end up releasing Senpai. During the festival, Senpai takes Nagatoro to a place to watch the fireworks. Nagatoro starts teasing Senpai until they realize that they are surrounded by couples. Both are embarrassed and flee the place. Another day on the way home Senpai sees Nagatoro, Gamo, Yosshii and another friend of Nagatoro talking. A couple of guys join them. The boys ask the girls out, but they don't want to, at which point Senpai gets up the courage and arrives in front of them. He tells Nagatoro to leave together. Nagatoro agrees and her friends join them. On the way home, the girls tease Senpai about his manga. Another day in the art club room, Senpai is worried that he hasn't been able to sleep well because he has been playing video games. Nagatoro also reminds him that soon there will be exams and that if he fails the exam too many times, he will be in the same class with her, so Nagatoro teases him. Sometime later, Senpai is studying in the library while Nagatoro and her friends tease him. One of Nagatoro's friends named Sakura tells Senpai that he shouldn't worry about repeating, and that except for Nagatoro, they had worse grades. Days later, Senpai manages to pass her exams with good grades. Another day, through the door of the art club, Nagatoro overhears Senpai and her friends having a conversation that makes her think they are doing something naughty. When Nagatoro opens the door and enters, she sees the girls helping Senpai remove a splinter from his finger. Later that day, on the way home Nagatoro and Senpai play a game of rock, paper, scissors. Whoever loses must carry the other's backpack to the next crossroads. At the last crossroads Senpai loses, but instead of carrying Nagatoro's backpack, she wants him to carry her on his back. Senpai accidentally touches Nagatoro's thighs, which makes her run away in embarrassment. That night Nagatoro calls Senpai while she is taking a bath. By mistake Nagatoro activates the video call and Senpai sees her while she is taking a bath. Senpai quickly warns her and Nagatoro is embarrassed. It all ends with Senpai apologizing to Nagatoro and he says he didn't see anything. Another day, Senpai arrives at the art club where he finds Nagatoro and her friends having fun. Senpai asks them why they are not in their usual place. They say that there was a noisy group. They also send Sakura to destroy that group from inside. While teasing Senpai, Gamo says that Senpai is a herbivore with no sexual appetite, while Nagatoro says that he does have sexual appetite. After a discussion, they make a bet that if Senpai has erotic material in the art club room, Nagatoro wins. Senpai helps Nagatoro win and while she teases him her friends leave. Another day, one of Nagatoro's friends, Sakura, tells Senpai that she has a stalker and asks Senpai for help to get rid of the stalker. Sakura asks Senpai to have a fake date, which Nagatoro doesn't like, but Senpai agrees. The day of the date, Senpai and Sakura meet and pretend to have a date. Following them are Nagatoro and her friends. Nagatoro interrupts the date by catching the stalker, who after apologizing runs away. After Nagatoro's friends leave, Nagatoro and Senpai walk home while she teases him. Another day, Nagatoro and her friends see Senpai running in a sports class. Later on the way home, Nagatoro tells Senpai that he has a very bad physique and forces her to do sports with her. The next day, Nagatoro meets Senpai for a workout. While running, Senpai looks at Nagatoro and embarrasses him by making him run faster. As they rest, Nagatoro teases Senpai, making him angry, so they continue running. Later, when they finish running and stretching together, they are found out by Yosshii. Another day, Nagatoro offers to model for Senpai, while dressed up as one of Senpai's characters. While Senpai is drawing Nagatoro, Senpai hears footsteps and asks Nagatoro and her friends to hide. Moments later, the president of the art club arrives, and tells Senpai that she has received complaints because of Nagatoro and her friends. The president tells Senpai that he will be expelled from the art club, but is stopped by Nagatoro, who tells the president that Senpai takes the art club very seriously. The president asks Senpai to make an art exhibition and compete with her. If Senpai wins, he will stay in the club. Nagatoro accepts the challenge for Senpai. Another day, in the art club room, Nagatoro and her friends talk about the president. Senpai asks them not to speak ill of the president, as he respects her. Nagatoro and her friends ask Senpai what are his chances of winning, but he says none and shows them a picture painted by the president. The girls are surprised as the contents of the painting is a nude portrait of the president. Nagatoro's friends make fun of her as the president has a better body than she does. Nagatoro will be Senpai's model, so she tries on various outfits, but Senpai can't draw her. At one point later, while Senpai is talking about the president, Nagatoro gets angry and leaves the room. The next day, when Senpai arrives at the art club room, he notices that the president has separated it into two parts. While Senpai is doing a painting, the president arrives with only a towel on her body. She tells Senpai that his painting is boring and that what a good painting needs is love. At that moment, Nagatoro arrives and sees Senpai with the president. She thinks Senpai will use the president as a model and runs away. The president tells Senpai to follow her. Senpai catches up with Nagatoro and tells her that he wants her to be his model, just the normal Nagatoro. On the way home, Senpai tells her that he wants to paint her normal because she is prettier, and then they both get embarrassed. Another day, in the art club room, Senpai, Nagatoro and Nagatoro's friends are looking at the paintings Senpai made. The model for the paintings was Nagatoro. The girls are curious and want to see what painting the president did, so they go to the other side of the room to see. They seem very surprised by what they saw, and Nagatoro looks discouraged. In another moment, Senpai and the president finish their work in the art club. As they walk along, the president asks Senpai how his exhibition is going, to which he replies that it is going well. The president tells him that she will not be contending with him on the day of the school festival. On the day of the school festival, Nagatoro and her friends dress up to attract an audience to Senpai's exhibition. On the other hand, the president's painting is very popular. The painting of the president is another painting of her naked. Many people see both exhibitions. Senpai invites Nagatoro for lunch. When they come back, they see the school discipline committee closing the president's exhibition. The president argues with the disciplinary committee, and they forbid her to exhibit at the festival. Senpai asks them why and they say that the president's painting incites lust. Nagatoro and the girls help the president by showing a video of people appreciating the painting for art and not for lust. The committee allows the president to display the painting again, however, she has to fulfill some conditions. The president thanks Senpai and the girls for their help. The president loses the bet, so the girls punish her by forcing her to dress up as a sexy bunny. The president congratulates Senpai for her work, and she tells him that his works have love. Another day, Nagatoro sees a drawing of Senpai and asks him to close his eyes. When Senpai closes his eyes, Nagatoro gives him a kiss on the cheek.
I hope you liked the recap. If so, don't forget to subscribe and like it.